Hello, my name is Philip and welcome to today's video where we'll talk about pasta, coffee and the passive. What do pasta and coffee have in common? You guessed it, they're made in Italy. Talking about pasta and its production, what is more important? Pasta or the Italians who make it? Well, pasta. Pasta is more important, and that's why I use the passive in the sentence. Pasta is made in Italy, because the focus is on the pasta, the object. In fact, the sentence pasta is made in Italy doesn't even say who makes the pasta. You can, of course, say who does a passive action. For example, pasta is eaten by millions of people around the world. In which case pasta is still the object and the focus, and millions of people around the world is who does the action, the eating. I could say the same sentence in an active voice. Millions of people around the world eat pasta every day. It's a perfectly fine sentence to say, but in this sentence the focus is on the millions of people, not the pasta. So, we use the passive when we don't know who does the action, or when the action is more important than the person doing it. If we want to say who does the action, we can use the preposition by. And how do we form the passive? Let's look at our two pasta examples. Pasta is made in Italy. Passive uses the verb to be, first of all, in the tense that you want to use. In this case present, so is, and past participle, made. Pasta is eaten by millions of people around the world, while again verb to be is eaten past participle. 144,646 million bags of coffee are produced every year. That's according to the International Coffee Organization. Do we know who makes it? No, we don't. Because the production itself is the important information. So we use the passive. Verb to be, are, produced, past participle. TV isn't watched much nowadays. Netflix is more popular, especially with the younger generation. It's a general statement that you may or may not agree with, but the focus is on watching the action, not the people. And it's a negative sentence. Verb to be isn't watched, past participle. Are minis manufactured in England? Yes, they are. Although the brand is owned by BMW and they are assembled in the Netherlands too. And here we have a question in the passive. Verb to be, subject, past participle. Very close to our quasi-trick. But it's not an infinitive, it's a past participle. We can also use the passive in the past. For example, coffee was discovered by an Ethiopian goat herd in the 19th century. Italians are known for their coffee, but I'm afraid that's not where the story started. It was in Ethiopia. Was is past of verb to be, discovered, past participle. I was born on the 5th of March. It's a common sentence you could say when you share your birthday with people, but actually it's a sentence in the passive voice. The infinitive is to bear, to give birth, and the person doing the action obviously was my mom. But the action itself is more important because it's me, here, yay. So was is verb to be in the past, born is the past participle of to bear. The question, when were you born, is also a passive question. Sunglasses were invented by an English designer, James Ayscough, in the 18th century. Of course, they were made popular by Italians like Exotica, but they are an English design. And sunglasses are the important thing, not the designer, so it's passive. Were, verb to be, invented, past participle. So far, we've looked at the passive for present and past simple. However, bonus fact, we can use the passive with any tense. In fact, it's a voice. In the bonus fact, in one of my previous videos on present perfect, I mentioned that perfect is an aspect of the present tense, as is continuous. Well, apart from aspects, each tense can also have a voice, which can be active or passive. Obviously, the passive focuses more on the action rather than the person doing it. To use it in other tenses, you could say, I've been given these flowers as my birthday present. The focus on the action of me getting the flowers, not the wonderful person who gave them to me, but it's passive. Have been is present perfect of to be, given, past participle. The event is going to be attended by thousands of people. A big event. Is going to be is the verb to be in the grammar form be going to. Is going to be attended past participle. Your knowledge of the passive is being expanded right now because I'm giving you extra information. Is being is the verb to be in present continuous, expanded past participle. But all this is extra. Please don't worry about it for now. Just get the basics right with present and past simple. When talking about past participles, it's worth quickly reviewing the pronunciation of regular past participles. That's the ones that end in ed. The ed ending can be pronounced in 3 different ways. T, like booked, d, as in arrived, or id, as in invited. The difference between t and d is really quite small, and sometimes it can be difficult to hear, particularly with different accents. However, the important thing is pronouncing it, which we do when the infinitive, the base of the verb, ends in a T or a D. For example, invite, invited, need, needed, id. So let's look at some words together. How do we pronounce the past participle of want? Wanted. The robber was wanted by the police. Id. Wanted. How do we pronounce the past participle of ask? Asked. I was asked for directions. T. Asked. How do we pronounce the past participle of decide? Decided. It's been decided we would take a break. Id. Decided. How do we pronounce the past participle of rent? Rented. The flat is rented out. Id. Rented. How do we pronounce the past participle of check? Checked. The answers were checked by the teacher. T. Checked. How do we pronounce the past participle of stop? Stopped. The car was stopped by a traffic warden. T. Stopped. Now it's time to check what you have learned. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. After each question, click on the video to pause it so you can give an answer and then check it against the answer key which is in the description of the video down below. Question 1. What does the passive focus on? The action or the person who does the action? Question 2. What preposition do we use when we want to say who does a passive action? Question 3. How do we form sentences in the passive? Question 4. How do we form questions in the passive? And question number 5. Edison invented the light bulb in the 19th century. Can you change the sentence into passive? And that's the introduction to the passive voice. As always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you found it useful. And to practice, follow the link in the description of the video down below to put what you have learned into action. That's all from me for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.